morning. I'm Andy Myers at Weiss Research, and this is your morning market update for Friday, September 30th. Jen Amos is off today. We're seeing losses on Wall Street as the market closes out a rough third quarter. The Dow Industrials have lost more than 10% over the last 3 months, the first negative quarter in more than a year and the biggest quarterly percentage drop since early 2009. Today, the losses stem mainly from a report on the Chinese manufacturing sector, which contracted for the third straight month. Renewed concerns about the European sovereign debt crisis are also weighing on sentiment. Investors are worried that Eurozone leaders may not move as quickly as hoped to backstop the region's struggling economies. The U.S. economy is facing some major headwinds of its own, according to the latest data. Personal income declined by 0.1% in August, the first decrease since October of 2009. Meanwhile, consumer spending rose just 0.2%, following a jump of 0.7 in July. And real consumer spending, adjusted for inflation, was flat. The report was not a surprise to economists because the August employment report showed no job growth. A closer look at the data shows that the personal savings rate of Americans fell to 4.5%, the lowest level since November of 2009. And a closely watched inflation gauge rose 0.2%. Excluding food and energy costs, the core PCE rate increased just slightly and is up 1.6% over the past year, well below the Fed's 2% target inflation rate. Concerns about the weak global economy are raising fears about slowing demand for commodities, and that's taking a toll on oil prices this morning. Crude is dropping more than $1.50 and is now well below $81 a barrel. On the other side of that trade, investors are searching for safety, once again piling into U.S. Treasuries. The yield on the benchmark 10-year note is dropping to 1.92%. And the dollar is also showing some strength today, especially against the euro. Gold, traditionally one of the safest of safe haven investments, is holding steady at around $1,620 an ounce. Gold has fallen 11% in September, as uncertainty prompted investors to sell the precious metal to raise cash. But for the third quarter, gold is still up more than 8%. On the corporate front, weak earnings news is weighing on two big companies. After yesterday's closing bell, Micron Technology swung to an unexpected quarterly loss. The chipmaker's sales and gross margins also fell, due mainly to a decline in the selling price of DRAM chips. Shares of Micron are tumbling 10% on the news. Meanwhile, Ingersoll-Rand is plunging 14% in early trading. The manufacturer cut its earnings and revenue forecast for the current quarter and the full year, citing lower than expected demand in North America for residential and commercial security systems, a stronger dollar, and other pressures. And finally, keep an eye on Level 3 Communications and Global Crossing. Both stocks are solidly higher after the Justice Department and FCC signed off on their combination. Global Crossing agreed to be bought out by Level 3 in April for a total of about $3 billion. That's the latest from Weiss Research. Have a good trading day and a great weekend.